everybody. So today I'm going to be telling a story about what happened on an airplane. So if I have another video that I posted kind of making reference to this, and in my last video that I posted, well, I don't know which video is going to go up first, but it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to be talking about something that happened on an airplane. So this happened in the summer of '07. I was 15, and the guy I was with, he was my friend, but he has caused a lot of trouble, and that's like another story for another day. So the guy, I don't want to say his real name, only because, like, if the company I'm going to be interning for something, like if they find this video, they know who he is. So I don't want to say his real name, so we'll just call him Jason. So Jason and we went to a summer program in Colorado. We went to the Colorado Center for the Blind. We only went to the 8-week version because we were in school. So we were flying back, and the night before, me and my roommate were up until 4 o'clock in the morning. We were talking, and I wanted to get up at 6 because I wanted to pack. I wanted to make sure I had all my stuff together, and of course, even after getting up 2 hours before we left for the airport, I still managed to forget something. So yeah, and it was actually my baby blanket out of all things. I really wish I did not bring that, but I made a mistake, and there's no going back. So yeah, but anyway, I forgot that. So anyway, so I had 2 hours of sleep, and I was just really tired, but Jason, he is the one who is to blame here. I mean, like I said, I'm not blameless, which I'll talk about that in a minute, but he was the one who started this whole thing. So yeah. So basically what happened was we got to the airport, and we had a golf cart. We had we had assistants in the airport. So they took us to our gate, took us in a golf cart, and we stopped at McDonald's. And I paid for our lunch because I was, because I had a lot of cash because, for going shopping and stuff. So I didn't really spend it. So I paid for our lunch. I told him I would. And we got 20-piece chicken nuggets, large fries, large Cokes, and we were just sitting at our gate with the Cokes. So he dropped his Coke. I don't know exactly how he dropped it, but he dropped his Coke. So he said to me, he's like, "Can I have a sip of yours?" And we were just we weren't dating. We were just we said we were, but we weren't. We really weren't. It was more like puppy love. So we were not, we were not dating. So I felt like that would be a little, I don't know, inappropriate, the word, unsanitary, I don't know, for us to drink out of the same straw. So I just didn't really want us to drink out of the same straw, and since I bought our lunch, I figured I would have a say. So I was telling him no. I was "I'm sorry, I'd rather not." I mean, he spilled it. And he's had a history of spilling things and not owning up to it. And I mean, yes, we all spill things. I get that. Okay, we all spill things, but he didn't, instead of saying, "Oh yeah, it was an accident," he'll blame someone else. Or we were on an airplane because they take us to the NFB convention, and the girl that was sitting next to him, who was actually one of my roommates, the one I stayed up with until 4 o'clock in the morning, he spilled her Coke twice. Not once, twice. I don't remember if it got on her, where it landed. If it got on her clothes, on the floor, but I mean, that's not really important. But he didn't really, own up to it, so I didn't want him to, spill mine, which is what happened. So basically what happened was, he was trying to, when I said no, I'd rather not, and he was begging. I was "No, can I have some? Can I have some?" So he kept on, he wouldn't stop. So instead of just being "Okay, she's not gonna let me have it, so I might as well just not gonna have a drink because I spilled mine and it's my fault," he he tried to grab the drink out of my hands. And I lost control. Like, I lost grip of it because he grabbed it in my hands and it fell on the floor and it spilled everywhere. So he had like 2 large Cokes and they both spill all over the floor. And I'm just like, really? And then he said, and now yours spilled. I'm like, yeah, it did. I mean, wasn't really much I could do because we were in the middle of the airport. It wasn't like my job to clean it up. So he tried to get up. I don't know why he tried to get up, but he did. So he tried to get up, and somebody, I think it was like a gate agent or somebody told him to sit back down. It's like, oh, be careful, there's a spill. So he sat back down. So we get on the plane, and when I went to McDonald's, I got honey sauce for my chicken fingers, for my chicken nuggets. So the honey was like, it had like the lid that you pull back, like a little plastic piece that you pull back. So, it gave us like a few extra. So, because I brought the food on the plane. So I didn't finish it. So I get on the plane and I wanted to listen to my iPod. So we sit down and he asks me if he can borrow my headphones for my iPod. And I was like, at this point, I was like, okay. I was really fed up with him because I wanted to listen to my iPod too, So I was really fed up with him and I was like, no, I don't want you using my headphones. Why do you always want my stuff? So I was like really fed up with him. And if you guys I know you guys are probably thinking, well, gee, it's okay you should share, but there's more to the story there's more to this guy that you guys don't know. So he asked me for the iPod. And then I was like, I told him no, I didn't want him to have it. So I got really mad at him. I don't remember if he tried to take my headphones away. He didn't, but yeah. So I was really mad at him. So I took some honey sauce and I poured honey on his head. And for those of you guys that don't know, I'm sure you do know, but honey is very sticky. So it's not like it'll just come off with a napkin or something. So the flight attendant comes over. I don't know the flight attendant's name, so we'll just call her. I don't know her real name, so we'll just call her Margaret. So Margaret comes over and she's like, what's going on? And I told her, about the iPod and Alex. Oh, shoot, I just said his real name. That's okay. So Alex just said, basically, I was calling him Jason, but no, it's all right. But so Alex was basically, as long as I don't give out last names, I think I'm fine. But so he was telling the flight attendant Margaret what was going on and the fact that I wouldn't share my iPod headphones, and she said, well, she wants to use them too. And then she said to me, she's like, and what did you just pour all over his head? And I told her honey sauce, and she said, okay, well, if you guys don't get it together, then you cannot stay on this plane and you will not go home. Because I can't say, because she did say where we were going, but I don't want to say where. I don't want to say what city we were going to. So we were just sitting there and she said, okay, I'm going to get you a washcloth. And she handed me a washcloth, walked away, and then she just said, and then I tried to wipe his hair. But you got to remember, that stuff is very sticky. So I did the best I can to get it out. And I was like, well, I did as best as I can. The rest of it'll just come out when you take a shower tonight or something. And, he was like, okay. So the flight attendant, Margaret, I guess is her name. So she comes back over. So basically what was happening was she told us that the gentleman, there was this guy who was supposed to sit next to us, and he was uncomfortable. We made him feel uncomfortable. And she said that the pilot did not want to take off because we were causing an uproar, which we were. We were creating a ruckus. So the pilot would not take off. So, the flight was delayed because of us, which was pretty bad. So, yeah. So she basically, what the flight attendant did was she called my mom. Now, I don't know if she used her own personal cell phone, because she did use a cell phone. So she told my mom what happened, and my mom told me about, the conversation she told them, that these two people, me and my friend are on the plane, and we were fighting, and we weren't listening, and my mother had said to the stewardess, to Margaret, we're calling her. So my mother said to Margaret, she said, okay, so what would you do if it was anyone else that was fighting? Any other kids who could see? What would you do if they were fighting? And the Margaret said, we would just separate them. And my mother said, okay, well, there's nothing wrong with them. They're just blind. So why don't you just separate them? They just can't see. There's nothing else wrong with them. And then my mother kind of paused, and she's like, you know what? Put her on the phone. So she told me to put me on the phone. So at that point, the flight attendant comes over to me and Alex, and she said, you guys need to come to the jetway. Your mom wants to talk to you. And it was my mom. So we go to the jetway. The flight attendant hands me the phone. And my mom said, you better sit your ass down on that plane and shut your mouth, or I'm not getting you. And I said, okay. That's all I said. It's like, okay. And she said, do you understand? And I said, yes. I was like, yeah, I understand. So, and that was it. And then I gave the phone back to the flight attendant, and she said, I think it'll be fine. I think they know what it takes for them to be able to stay on this plane. Because before she put me, when we were in the jetway, before she put me on the phone with my mom, she said, you guys, she said, it was actually after we got off the phone with my mom. The stewardess, she talked to us, and she said, well, you guys, if you guys get loud, this plane's coming back to the gate, and you guys are getting off. And I said to her, can we talk? And she said, yes, you can talk as long as you don't argue. So I was like, we understood. And and the flight attendant said, I think they understand what it takes to stay on this plane. And it was fine. So yes, we were able to come home. But for the plane ride, for the ride home, there was literally not a peep out of us. We were perfectly fine. We talked a little, but we didn't argue, nothing. So I remember when we were in the airport, actually, Alex left he had a can of sunscreen, one of those aerosol cans, in his backpack, and he had to leave it because we had already checked in our bags, and obviously you can't have that stuff on a plane. So he had to leave it there because they checked his bag. I think they hand checked it, and they said, well, you have to leave this here. We can't have it on the plane. So, yeah, and then after all this stuff happened on the plane, we were about to take off, and Alex was listening to his weather band radio. I think it was affecting their signals or something, and the stewardess comes back over and says, you need to turn that off. So he did. He listened right away because he knew that we were on thin ice. So we get to the city where we were going to, and my mom was waiting for me, and the stewardess was helping us get off the plane, and she said, actually 2 flight attendants came over to us when we were going to the jetway to talk to my mom, because they thought that he was my brother. So, because they were like, oh, and your brother, he's coming too. I got your brother. The other flight attendant has your brother. So, which I have no idea why. Maybe because we were both blind. I have no idea, but we don't look anything alike, according to other people. So, I don't get why they thought that. But I have a feeling if I was sighted, they probably would have thrown me off the plane, if we were both sighted. But, yeah. But, we get to the other end, and the flight attendant talks to my mom, and she said to her they were fine. There were no problems. And that was all he said. So, yeah. So, basically, after that, I wasn't really punished because like, I was not blameless, but he started this whole thing. Like, it was escalating because of him. Like, he was the one who started it. Okay, no, I should not have threw honey at him, but it escalated because of that. Like, well, because of him. He was the one who started this whole thing. So I wasn't going to get in trouble for that. Like, that's why I didn't get punished. So, and my mom did not feel that I deserved to be punished, because my dad had said that I should have just, like, had to sit in my room for a whole week with nothing to do. And she didn't feel I deserved that. So she also said that, well, if he doesn't live here, I'm not going to enforce a punishment that he tells me to. So, yeah. But after everything that happened, we kind of, like, we broke up for a while, for, like, a little over a year. And then we got back together when I asked him to my junior prom. So, yeah. And my mom was actually going to have me write a letter. She said to the stewardess, she said, I'm going to have her write a letter. Who should I have her write it to? And they told her. But she never did that, because they probably wouldn't read it anyway. So, yeah. But, we were broken up. So, because we thought that would be best after what happened. So, yeah. But, I don't remember if I talked about that. I know you guys are probably thinking, well, gee, they're 15 years old and they're acting like they're 5, which is true. But, okay, like, I shouldn't have threw the honey. I will admit that. I should not have thrown the honey. I own that. I take full responsibility for that. But, aside from that, he was the one who started this whole thing. Like, it all started even in the airport when we were sitting there by our gate. And he took the Coke out of my hand. He grabbed the Coke out of my hand. And when we got on the plane, and he was, like, kept asking me for my headphones. And even, like, when the flight attendant came back after I had washed the honey off his head, he told her, like, because we were just going to, like, take turns with them. And he said, okay, we came to an agreement. We're just going to take turns with them. And she said, okay, but you still might not be able to stay on this plane. So, yeah. But anyway, I was like, I was like nervous when she told us that, because, I mean, we would have came home eventually, but we would have had to get another flight. So, yeah. But, anyway, I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and if you guys have any other questions regarding this, or, questions about anything else in general, definitely leave them down below, and I'll be sure to answer them. So, yeah, I will, leave them. So, yep, so, be sure to comment, like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye guys.